One of my mentors. Mehboob and I had the pleasure to work together on the last fall conference, and we were partners side by side, so it's a pleasure to see you speaking and also have the opportunity to maybe give you an evaluation. Just like POPS represents Pathway of Professional Speakers, for this evaluation it represents positive, O for opportunities, and the PS for potential speaking gigs, right? So first of all, positive. You look awesome, darling, right? You sell it. You came in very professional, you looked great, you had it all together, and that is your personal brand. Something that I think maybe you can leverage even more. But it's something that you already own, so you have an automatic aura of credibility that we're gonna listen and buy in. Now we're waiting for the meat, right? Some really great techniques that you already have down is you connect well to others, you use your humor, eye contact throughout, great use in the beginning of pacing and pauses, and the logic in the intro. I lost it in other places, but the logic in the intro I thought was spot on. I loved when there was a moment in the intro when suddenly you hooked us. When you talked about the learning is the point. Right in the beginning you made that, and all of a sudden I felt something. I felt an emotion now, and it wasn't just about listening to a speaker. Anytime that you can do that, I tune in, and I think the rest of the audience probably does too. One thing that you said, this is an area going into opportunities, one thing that you said kind of moving out of your introduction was, I think this was one of your last lines, was, this is all about me. And if you happen to relate, great. It was unnecessary because you related to us throughout. So instead it made me form some bias against you when you said that, like, oh, it doesn't matter if I'm here or not, because it's all about him. So be careful. I know that that wasn't your intention. Just be careful what you say and what our possible reaction could be. Because you know, as you made the point in the speech, that the whole point is for the audience, and that's why you're trying to connect with us. When you made the comment about the world champion, make sure you do your research first. I know you said, you know, my limited knowledge, granted, but you're up here giving a speech and you make that point and you have two people in the room who know different. So just make a contingency plan for yourself so you don't have to be questioned by your audience. Because then we start to go, oh, well, he didn't look that up, and we don't know why. About 10 to 15 minutes within it, afterwards you said, I'm gonna tell you a story before I go into my speech. And I thought, what the heck have we been listening to? So I didn't know how it was gonna change, and it just took me out of it for a minute, like, oh no. And that's what an audience could possibly do, like, oh no, this is gonna be going on forever, right? He hasn't even started yet. He's just talking to us. So be careful about those types of comments. It might have just been something that came out. I think another opportunity is maybe if you summarize more at the end. You did it on about the fourth or fifth point. We weren't clear what the points were, and this is probably your biggest opportunity. The organization, we understand that you're moving through the 6 slides, but the wording is something that needs to be shortened. A shortened phrase that you repeat and is memorable. It had too many words. Each one had too many different words, and you changed it along the way. So once you put it into the arms of the audience to reflect back to you, we're not sure what to say, and people are checking their notes. That's not a good thing. You want to make it absolutely memorable. Why? So they can use this information afterwards. That's why you're sharing it. Like, make these points so you can write them down and you can remember them and live them. That's the whole point. Places where you have potential speaking gigs with this. Have you thought about a broader audience? Exactly. And I wasn't positive who your audience was right now. Who would you be giving this to? think you need to really focus on who's the audience that really needs to hear this. I can see potential for a new club, maybe at a charter meeting, or a business that maybe wants to bring Toastmasters along. They're not sure how it might help somebody. Maybe a potential conference, or going around and visiting Toastmaster clubs around the country, around the world, to deliver what this has done for you. And it doesn't mean that you just do these speeches and you win. It's not about that. It's about learning and the journey and connecting to others. So if you decide to focus now on maybe a potential audience, this could have greater impact with business audiences. Someone told me the other day, you could go to a prison and deliver something like this if you change some things a little bit. You could go to troubled teens and talk to them. So we really have to think about the expansion of our message, because we're Toastmasters. It shouldn't just stay within us, right? You have a bigger message to share. So thank you so much for sharing what you know today, your experience today. I'm really privileged to be able to give you some feedback, and I wish you well.
Thank you.